that reincarnated with memories from their past life. Some of these saviors are trained by the Arcane Academy, which divides them into two categories. Shirogane, the ones who manifest weapons and use martial arts, and Kuroma, the ones who use magic. They use their skills to fight metaphysicals, supernatural entities who want to harm humanity. Our protagonist, Moroha Heimura, is a rare person who possesses both powers. Moroha is an orphan boy who's considered an ancient dragon, a person who possesses memories from two of his past lives. On his first, he was Prince Flaga, a swordsman who was in love with his sister. On his second, Shu Sora, a magician and king of the Netherworld aided by his lover, the Witch of the Netherworld. Moroha falls asleep during the entrance ceremony. He wakes up when Satsuki hits him. After taking a look, he realizes she is the reincarnation of Sarasha, his sister in his past life. He also meets Shizuno, who kisses him, recognizing him as her past life's lover, Shu Sora. The three of them got into the same class, and during the practice lesson, the instructor introduces the class to the Shirogane arts. Satsuki demonstrates drawing out her prana and argues with another student because he thinks the class is pointless. He draws out his prana and they start fighting. Satsuki engages on him, but her efforts are useless as he dodges or parries everything. She overestimates her abilities and loses her sword, and when she's about to pick her sword, the other student attacks her back. Moroha confronts him and accepts a duel to get an apology. The duel begins and Moroha is getting beaten. He can't use prana yet. His hits are parried or dodged, but he gets knocked back every time he gets hit back. It's a one-sided match. His sword gets cut in half. He tries his best, but his sword slips from his hand. His opponent decides to deal the final blow, but Satsuki encourages him with words from their past life. Moroha remembers his past and manages to draw out his prana and Saratinga, his katana, from the previous life. He shows mastery in his speed abilities and destroys his opponent's weapon with one blow. He defeats his opponent with a spell but collapses due to exhaustion. Moroha wakes up when a young girl named Maya kisses him to restore his prana. The school principal explains that he's an ancient dragon. Jin Isuguri comes to Moroha classroom to inform him he got promoted to rank C and wants him to join Strikers, a team who fights metaphysicals. Moroha and Shizuno, who was already invited, accept to join the team. Satsuki asks to join the team but is rejected for being too weak. Satsuki invites Shizuno to go shopping and find a present for Moroha. Suddenly a 9-headed metaphysical appears. The two drag the metaphysical into the mall. As they try to hold him back, Satsuki manages to land several strikes but she's trapped. Shizuno is forced to save her from an attack but gets hit and her body starts to turn into stone. Shizuno gets restrained by the monster. However, Moroha arrives and frees her. He strikes the monster a few times while dodging its attacks. While Moroha is fighting the monster, Shizuno wakes up and reminds him of his second power. He awakens it and casts a spell while running inside the monster's mouth. He destroys the head with a magic ball and merges it with his sword. Moroha kills the monster with his new combined power. Later on the same day, Satsuki also joins the Strikers due to her bravery. While at a cafe, Moroha meets a blonde-haired guy who knows his name and demonstrates his ridiculous fast speed. He learns from Shizuno that he's Sir Edward Lampard, one of the head 6 in S class and the top man of England. Later the three meet Maya and learn that she's the principal's younger sister. Moroha also learns that Shizuno's elder brother is the academy's chairman and that she belongs to a prestigious family who wants to use her for political purposes. He gets invited by Shizuno's elder brother to their mansion. Her brother tries to tempt Moroha to become an S rank. After dinner, Moroha gets to learn about Shizuno's past and how her family decides her life. On the next day, Moroha gets back to this room and finds Maya, who tells him she's his new roommate. On the other side, Shizuno is ordered by her brother to study abroad. She rejects it but is told it was a family decision. She skips classes for the next day. Moroha finds out about it and barges into the mansion, claiming he's an S rank, and takes her away. Upon request, Sir Edward and his assistant, Angela, block them midway. Moroha challenges Edward to a duel. They move to another location and engage on each other. It seems even, but Moroha gets stabbed early on. He tries to cast a spell but Edward interrupts him by pushing him back. Meyer appears and releases a field, allowing Moroha to use his real power. He casts a spell and dodges Edward hit to combine his powers into his katana. They re-engage and Moroha breaks Edward's sword. Edward releases his second weapon, a silver armor with a lance. Their fight ends up destroying the nearby terrain. Moroha manages to crack Edward's helmet. To win the fight, Moroha uses Causidus, a forbidden spell that freezes Edward and the whole mountain. He gets awarded the S rank by Edward. Later on, the principal teleports the Strikers squad to an island for them to practice. Everyone must decide their own practice goal. Satsuki challenges Momo to a running competition, but she's unable to win no matter how much she tries. At night, Satsuki asks Moroha to train her to run faster than Momo. He tries to convince her to focus on her own strengths rather than aiming for running, but he gives up when he finds the real reason behind it. During their late-night training, Satsuki notices something strange in the ocean. On that same night, the Head Six meets to discuss the promotion of Moroha Heimura to S rank. As they argue about the decision, one of them warns about a sudden appearance of a new metaphysical. The Strikers squad finds out that the new metaphysical is much stronger when compared to the last Moroha fought with. They decide to vacate the island along with civilians. On the other hand, Russia's S rank, Vasilisa decides this is the opportunity to test Moroha. Moroha, Satsuki, Shizuno, and Maya stay behind to deal with the metaphysical, but all the Strikers appear to join them. They devise a plan to fight the metaphysical. As they engage from long range, the metaphysical grows tiny larvae from its body to fight back. Moroha engages with the monster and cuts one of its arms. The group wants Moroha to slay its head, but the monster has more than one head and uses a sound attack to hit all the Strikers. Moroha jumps on top of the metaphysical and remembers another magic from his past life. He uses his sword to carve a magic circle on the monster's back. As he activates it, the monster explodes from the inside. Vasilisa sends Alina, a Russian transfer student, to eliminate Moroha to avoid Japan being the first country with 2 S ranks. As she arrives, she confesses her love to Moroha, but he rejects her because he suspects her motives. She still manages to land a date with him where she tells him about her past. Shizuno contacts Angela to get more info. She finds out Alina is known as the Man-Eater, who once stabbed Edward. Alina is only taking orders because she's being blackmailed by her brother's life. Shizuno calls Alina and challenges her to a duel, revealing her as Man-Eater. Shizuno uses her ice magic to attack. Alina tries to sneak attack from behind, but Shizuno summons an ice dragon. Alana is no match for the dragon and decides to use her real power, confirming she's Man-Eater. She manages to fight back and kill the dragon. Advancing, she sticks her sword near Shizuno's throat and asks her to not interfere between her and Moroha. Shizuno gets suspended and Moroha visits her at her mansion. She tells him that Alina is an assassin. Even knowing this, Moroha and Satsuki decide to visit Alina. He tries to heal her injured leg while Satsuki brings her food. Alina requests Moroha on another date. While on the date, Alina reveals herself to be Man-Eater and fights Moroha. As they exchange blows, he realizes that her weapon can absorb his prana. He can only defend himself from her attacks. On the moment, he remembers something from his past and dodges her attack while attacking himself. Moroha figures out the reason behind Alina's attack and offers to rescue her brother. Meanwhile, Shizuno comes and tells Alina that she doesn't have a brother. Kondrat, from the Russian branch, appears while possessing a cat. He reaffirms that Shizuno is telling the truth. He leaves the cat and possesses Alina to attack Moroha. Moroha manages to parry and dodge every attack and overboosts his prana. This power makes him destroy Alina's sword and uses a tranquilize attack to separate Kondrat from Alina. Later at night, Alina tries to head back to Russia, but Moroha stops her by casting sleep magic on her. He calls Edward to tell him he'll attack the Russian branch. Moroha is accompanied by Angela. They ambush one of Vasilisa's subordinates just to send a message that he's waging a war. The messenger talks to Vasilisa through a mirror and tells Moroha's weakness, that he doesn't kill people, but the subordinate is considered a failure and is killed. While in Russian, Moroha beats every elite savior and tells them to spread his name. He manages to move some of the attackers with kind words, but he had to clear up several branches until he encountered one of Vasilisa's main minions. The minion shows him a mirror where they see Vasilisa casting a high-level spell. The mirror summons a lightning dragon that directly hits Moroha. Moroha finally wakes up and finds out that he was roasted while saving Angela and taking a direct hit from Vasilisa's attack. She carried him to an inn and healed his injuries. One of the girls he fought before became an ally. She told him how cruel Vasilisa's methods are. Even the minion who carried the mirror was killed because of his failure. When Moroha finally comes to face Vasilisa, she attacks him with a high-level dark art, creating a powerful army of lightning. Moroha goes head-in, slashing the army as he moves forward. Vasilisa sends her bodyguards into the battlefield, but her lightning army keeps attacking anyone on their path. Moroha ends up trying to fight the army while saving the bodyguards one by one. However, he gets trapped in a gravity field by Yori, one of the bodyguards. Angela and the new ally comes to the rescue. Satsuki, Shizuno and Alina also appear. Alina tries to call up the bodyguards by telling them she's now a new person and they should change too. Alina cuts Yori's necklace, making her return to normal, and Moroha ends up getting all bodyguards by his side. Vasilisa asks her men to contact the Russian government to tell them the whole city is about to be destroyed. She summons a lighting giant who's tall enough to touch the clouds. Moroha tries to attack it with his merged abilities, but to no effect. He remembers his past life and throws a high-rank spell on his own. He summons a sea of black water that binds the lightning giant, eventually breaking it. When he commands the water to restrain the giant, he gets closer to Vasilisa. She tries to cast a spell at him, but he snaps his fingers and the water blocks it. She begs for her life, even claiming to serve him, but he just walks away. Later at night, while spending time alone, Moroha tells Shizuno about a dream. In that dream, he sees a monster he had never seen before, the same monster that keeps taking everything away from him in his past life. When heading back to the academy, Moroha gets behind because a metaphysical appears in Russia. Edward briefs Angela about Moroha defeating the monster. While Satsuki is laying on the bed with Maya, she feels a vision of a monster. On the other side, Ando, the Japanese S-rank, wakes up and says the ancient dragon is coming. On the next day, the sky turns dark as the ancient dragon appears. He heads towards the academy looking for Satsuki. Upon finding her, he chases her but gets attacked by the strikers. The dragon dispels everything at high speed. He has the ability to nullify and create every spell with its eye. While trying to come back, Moroha finds out about the attack. He remembers everything. The ancient dragon has always been hunting him in his past lives. Every time he lived, the dragon appeared and killed everyone he held precious. Meanwhile, the strikers are still trying to hold the dragon's attacks. The principal passes out while saving Maya and entrusts her with the mission of opening the transportation portal. Edward appears and protects Maya while she's casting the spell, and they finally manage to summon Moroha. As he arrives, he shouts at everyone to say out and run. He engages against the dragon, but he ends up with his sword broken. The dragon has the power of every metaphysical they fought before and attacks Satsuki and Shizuno. They turn into stone statues. Moroha, enraged, attacks the dragon with multiple hits. He craves a forbidden spell into the dragon's body that will destroy everything, even the city. Satsuki and Shizuno talk to their previous lives and come back to help Moroha. As a result, he calms down and enables to merge both his powers of past lives. The strikers try their best to create an opening for Moroha to create a powerful spell. The dragon tries to dispel the chant, but Angela throws a dagger into its eye to stop it. Moroha, Satsuki and Shizuno combine their powers to land a powerful blow, killing the dragon.